good? Welcome to the Post Out Podcast presented by Mallyway. It's your boy Malik. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm out here on a casual Sunday, just chilling. I know it's been a minute, but I'm always up for dropping some gem. So let's break down what's been happening, in the world of sports and just in general. Let's break down what's been happening for the last couple months, man. So here we go. Let's do this. So first of all, I'm happy to hear that the vaccine rollouts seem to be moving from country to country. Arenas are opening up. I mean, personally, I don't know what people's personal views are on the vaccine, but as long as we can get the economy rolling and people out, doing what we used to do, I can't hate on that. So, not too long ago, UFC 261. Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal 2. That took place on April 24th, and that was in Jacksonville, Florida. It was crazy, man. It was crazy because there was over 15,000 fans in attendance. Including Tom Brady and some of the other dudes. From the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was the first time since March 2020 that the UFC was operating at full capacity in the States. UFC President Dana White, they first wanted to do this in Singapore, but obviously, politics was involved, so, they switched it back to the U.S. And then Florida, we all know how open Florida is, so, Florida was, they managed to make that happen over there. And obviously, it seems like things are moving in the right direction because UFC 262, with Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler, that was at the Toyota Center in Houston. And they had about 16,000 fans over there too, so that's probably close to max capacity. And then now they have UFC 263 with Israel Adesanya and Vettori. That's a rematch. Adesanya won the first one by split decision. So that one is scheduled to take place in Glendon, Arizona. So that's going to be on June 12th. And I'm assuming they're opening up a little bit more for fans to come in. So shout out for everybody that's involved in making things happen, man. It seems like, life is slowly moving back to what it used to. And then over to Formula One Grand Prix in Monaco. There was, Max Verstappen won it for Red Bull. Lewis Hamilton came in 7th for Mercedes. But yeah, it was a crazy weekend. That was probably that was last weekend, May 23rd. That was, Max, that was Verstappen's first win in Monaco, basically. There was about 7,500 fans that was allowed. Spectators had to take a COVID test 72 hours before the event. But other than that, man, it looked good. It looked good. I would love to go to Monaco. Yes, it looks dope over there. But, for now, things are slowly opening up. This is super interesting right now, what's happening. And then in hockey, oh man, the Leafs, the Canadians, Toronto versus Montreal, Game 6. And, of course, the Leafs had to lose in overtime in Game 6. Carey Price, the goalie for the Canadians, for the Habs. He stepped up in overtime, man. He stepped up. I think the Leafs had like 11 to 12 shots on goal. Carey Price pretty much, shut him out in overtime. And I had a feeling, man. Because they lost Game 5 in overtime. And, in this game, they were a little bit more aggressive. I had a feeling that, Jack Campbell was, he wasn't getting much action because the Leafs were shooting all the shots, basically. So I had a feeling that he was going to get caught sleeping, and that's exactly what happened. And, the Leafs lost. Now, it's a Game 7. What is this? This is, I was reading an article at the Score. The Leafs now lost 7 straight series clinching games in a row. This is ridiculous, man. Like, you have the opportunity to close out a series and you lose. And Matthews, our top line, Matthews, Marner, Nylander, these guys, they don't typically do good in Game 7s. So historically, this is gonna be it's gonna be another tight game for the Leafs. They better not lose this because they're a favorite, especially in the North Division. The Leafs were only playing Canadian teams. Everybody's expecting them to to move on. They were dominating that division, and now we're in a game 7 against Montreal. I mean, me personally, man, I'm from Montreal. I root for the Leafs too, because that's where I'm at. But man, if they lose that game, that's a disaster right there, bro. That's a disaster. So hopefully Matthews and Marner step up because they haven't really been scoring in this series. We've been getting a lot of scoring from the D line, but you got to do what you got to do, man. Marner's and Matthews, they had a good year, so you got to step up. They got to step up, man. It was also a great weekend for soccer. Man, Chelsea beating Manchester City 1-0 in the Champions League finals in Porto, Portugal. Another spot I got to probably visit, man, because, I got some friends who, they're down with the Europe vibe. So, let's try that Euro vibe pretty soon. But, yeah, man, Chelsea, second, Champions League championship. The young kid, Kai, Verts, he scored a breakaway goal in the second half. And then, that was pretty much it, right? They won 1-0. But, the underrated story for Chelsea is, the midfielder, N'Golo Kante, French Malian national. This guy, he's at a point now where he won 2 Premier League Cup, one with Leicester City and one with Chelsea. He won a World Cup with France 2018. He won a Euro Cup in 2019. And then now he has a Champions League championship, in his resume, on his belt. This guy was, he was named, man of the match by the UEFA Tech Observers. He's dope, man. The coach said he pretty much does everything. He hasn't scored in the Champions League, but this guy, he does everything, man. Like in terms of his, his tackles, he's precise. His recoveries. Just want to give a quick shout out to N'Golo Kante, man, because Chelsea won another Champions League finals, and this guy, he's underrated, man. People who know soccer obviously know who he is, but he's underrated. And this is Chelsea's second championship since 2012. Obviously, when they beat Bayern Munich, with Drogba's tying goal and then Drogba sealing it in the penalty shootout. This was dope, man. It was dope to see Chelsea win another one. Obviously, Drogba was a legend back then. He has 36 goals, in Chelsea's Champions League history. So I'm not mad at that, man. Man City, feel bad for them. I don't know much about Man City, but I do know Sergio Aguero. That was probably his last game, or maybe his last season with them. So that's a disappointment. And they never won a Champions League yet. So that was their opportunity. They were favored. I bet on Chelsea obviously because that's my squad. So I got a little bit of change out of that. But feel bad for Man City, man. But yeah, man. Back to what we do in terms of what we talk about in this podcast, and that's ball, man. That's hoops. I got to talk about the NBA, obviously. See what's been going on. A lot's been going on. Things are exciting. We're in the playoffs. The draft lottery or prospective lottery position, we're set, and then now we got to have the lottery to see what the actual positions are going to be. And a quick shout out to the BAL, obviously, the Basketball Africa League. I just finished watching. I think Zamalek, the team out of Egypt, actually won the inaugural championship, the first championship. But some guys on that team. There's some guys there that were balling, bro. Like people need to look them up because obviously those guys, some of these guys played internationally. Some of these guys actually, entered the draft and then went undrafted. But this my boy Sule Diabate from Zamalek, out of Ivory Coast. This guy was killing it, bro. Fourth quarter, he was hitting several dagger threes. Michael, Fukwade, I think he's a Nigerian American national. Walter Hodge, another dude from the States. These guys were killing it for Zamalek. So, shout out to Zamalek. First inaugural championship for the BAL. I know my boy Masai Ujiri, manager of the Toronto Raptors, or president of the Toronto Raptors, actually. I know he was down there, checking out scouting talent. I think, even the French president was there, Macron. I don't know what he was doing, but he was out there. It's good, man. It's good, man. J. Cole, J. Cole did his thing. He represented. He brought some media coverage there. Didn't really contribute a lot. I think he left with like 5 points, couple rebounds, total in the 3 games that he played. But I mean, yeah, man. I'm happy for him, man. Happy he was living out his dream. Shout out to J. Cole, new album coming out. I gotta check that out too. And yeah, he put in work. He went back to the States, and yeah, good advertisement. But yo, back to the NBA. Crazy what's going on right now. It's ridiculous what's going on right now. The Milwaukee Bucks just finished a sweep. They just got the Miami Heat out of there. And, I typically rate the Miami Heat because Jimmy Butler, to me, was always underrated. Bam Adebayo, deserving of a new contract he signed. Tyler Hero was a young stud, obviously. And, yeah, Duncan Robinson, the rest of these boys, they had a good potential. I think they missed an opportunity by not trading for Kyle Lowry. But I don't think it would have made a difference because Milwaukee, unfortunately for Milwaukee, they lost Dante DiVincenzo. But Milwaukee was on a mission this year. They weren't trying to run away from any seeding to not play the Heat. They played all the way through the end of the regular season, knowing that they were going to face the Miami Heat, the team that eliminated them last year in the bubble, in an embarrassing fashion, obviously. So shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. These guys are balling right now. These guys are balling. Drew Holiday, you could tell his impact is ridiculous. I think he was his plus minus for Game 4 was, I think it was plus 41. Obviously, his impact, on and off the court impact is ridiculous. It allows Giannis to play off the ball. Giannis can actually initiate the pick and roll, pick and pop. And then, Miami had no chance. As soon as Milwaukee added Drew Holiday, I picked Milwaukee to make it to the finals. I'm not sure who's going to make it out of the West. The West is a little tougher. But, I think Brooklyn is a little bit overrated. Obviously they're talented. You got former MVPs, KD, you have James Harden, and obviously Kyrie. But to be honest, people like to crown people before they actually deserve it. I've never really crowned KD as the best player in the league because he won comfortably. His 2 championships were very comfortable championships. To me, if you're winning comfortably, if there's no competition in front of you, then why are we crowning you the best? Same with Harden. Harden to me is actually, I'm less disappointed in Harden because I think he did a lot carrying the Houston Rockets. I think some of the criticism Harden is getting is a little bit unfair. But still, we haven't really seen him, perform and, make it to the finals. Kyrie did it. Kyrie did it alongside of, LeBron James, obviously. I got to see it. I got to see it, man. I got to see it before I pick the Brooklyn Nets. I like the fire that I'm seeing in Milwaukee. So I'm going to stick with my Milwaukee pick to make it to the finals. And it's looking good right now. They just swept the Miami Heat. I mean, if we observe the rest of the bracket, the Knicks are playing the Hawks. That's going to be a tight series. That series, I'm looking forward to it. They're actually playing right now as I'm speaking. It's halftime. The Hawks are leading 53-49. This is a tough series because it's evenly matched. Both coaches. I respect both coaches. Nate McMillan for the Hawks and Tom Thibodeau for the Knicks. These guys are known to cultivate a good culture. And, they're no BS type of guys, man. And Julius Randle, he hasn't had a good start to the playoffs. It's funny because the Knicks remind me of like the 2012, 2013 Raptors, man, when we first made the playoff with Lowry and DeRozan. They're young. They surprise people. They're well coached. They don't really have a superstar on the squad. That's exactly what happened, man. They're facing another team with a lot more talent. And the fans, man, the same reaction. Like, the way the Raptors fans was hungry. We're out here, Masai Ujiri was just cussing out, the crowd or cussing out the other team, Brooklyn or whatever. It was crazy, man, because the Knicks right now, we're talking about fan behavior. Oh, man, guys are spitting. I don't know if that connected with Trae Young, but Spike Lee's out there, trampling. I'm worried he doesn't get an Achilles injury because, Spike Lee gets kind of wild up, when games are on. It's crazy, man. The environment, Madison Square Garden, it's ridiculous, man. What I'm seeing. I love the energy the Knicks are providing. Everybody raves about the Knicks energy, but nobody really wants to go there. I don't know why they keep tweeting, "Oh, the energy's crazy." The Knicks need a superstar on their squad, but Julius Randle, hasn't had a good series. So it's kind of like what I said with the Raptors, right? Like once in 2012, 2013, during their first playoff run, obviously, the Lowry, the Rosen, narrative that they're not performing up to what they did in the regular season. That's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing a little nerve showing for Julius Randle. He won Most Improved Player of the Year, but he's a little nervous right now. R.J. Barrett, second-year player out of Mississauga. Shout out to R.J. Barrett. He's had a good year this year. Like the first year was bad, as his rookie year was bad, inefficient. This year he kind of worked on his shot, worked on his defense. He's got more opportunities this year, but in the playoff, it's like he's reverting back to like inefficient shooting. He's a little, gets a little too excited. He'll go over the screen and then miss an assignment here and there. Sometimes he'll just, try to rush a shot at the rim. So it seems like he's not really settled down yet. And the Hawks is like a total opposite story. Trae Young, even though Trae Young, that's his first playoff run, he seems like he's the most comfortable, most veteran type of guy out there right now because and that's probably because of his game, because Trae Young can create his own shot, shoot from pretty much anywhere, 30 to 32 feet. And at the same time, he's one of the best playmakers in the league too. So because he has that control of the floor, it seems like it's easier for him. It's an easier time, even though he was dealing with some of the vulgarities from the Knicks crowd. Trae Young is balling right now, man. I think in first two games he had over 30. I'm not sure what he had game 3, but I'm sure he had an amazing game. And it's gonna be an interesting series. I can see that one go to 6-7, but the Knicks are gonna have to step up. Julius Randle is gonna have to step up specifically because he was their best player throughout the year. And in terms of the other side of the bracket, we have the 76ers and the Wizards. Man, I thought I was rooting for the Wizards, especially with the play-in tournament. They made it. I thought the Wizards was going to make some noise, but they're getting slapped. There's no Joel Embiid is a beast. Nobody can guard Embiid. In terms of the Wizards are playing. Their centers, their front court. These are guys that have been cut from other teams. Alex Len. I don't even know some of the names of the other dudes. But since Thomas Bryant went out, the Wizards, they've been kind of shuffling their center position. And it's showing right now because they have no answer for Embiid. They have no answer for Tobias Harris. The 76ers are just a big lineup. Ben Simmons, he could be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. He can lock down either Westbrook or Beal. And at this point, I'm happy for the Wizards. They deserve to make the playoff. They have two superstars on our team, but clearly they don't play defense. Scott Brooks to me is not even a good coach. This guy, he makes no adjustments at all. And man, they're probably gonna get swept. So they lost yesterday. Philadelphia's up 3-0. I don't expect the Wizards to win that game 4. So happy trails. And then I touched a little bit on the Nets and the Celtics. Obviously, everybody thinks the Celtics are going to lose this series, which is very likely. People thought they were going to get swept, though. But, Celtics have heart. Jason Tatum came out in Game 3. He put out, I think it was a 40 or 50 piece. Put in a lot of work. Again, the Celtics look the Nets look a little rattled because Kyrie, even before the game started, Kyrie was talking about hoping that the fans in Boston don't make things racial. Kyrie's bringing out a lot of weird comments lately. I mean, I support, the movement for, obviously making sure fan behaviors doesn't interfere with the personal lives and the privacy of players, and obviously their right for dignity. But before it actually happens, to say that to the media, it makes it seem like they're already in your head, like Kyrie, and it makes it seem like you're in the wrong, obviously, because Kyrie knows how he left Boston. He knows that I don't know why he told them he was gonna re-sign, if they would have him. Players don't usually make comments like that, but he made the comment, and and he didn't stay. So obviously he knows that Boston's gonna be pissed. But I don't know why he If it was me, I wouldn't have made that movement. Just let them, if they're gonna, say something racial, expose them afterwards, but don't come out before the game and be like, oh, I hope this. Like, I don't know, man. It just seems like they're in your head. It was a weird comment. So I thought the Nets was gonna lose a game in Boston, and they did. They lost game three. When everybody thought the Nets were gonna sweep them. Again, I'm not ready to crown the Nets. People are here. These guys, they're talented. That doesn't, just because you're talented doesn't mean that you're the your winners and your alphas. So we'll see what happens. Good win for the Celtics. We'll see what happens. And then just to stay on that point, look at the Clippers. Clippers, very talented team. The odds makers. They pretty much have them. They had them favorite the whole entire time, and they keep losing. They lost game one. They lost game two. And then game three in Dallas. They were down big. I don't know if you guys saw that game, but Luka, Tim Hardaway Jr. These guys were hitting ridiculous threes in the beginning of the game, and Dallas was, it was bumping. Everybody thought it was going to be a sweep, but they showed their heart. They showed their heart. Kawhi, super efficient. I think he was what? I think he was 11 for 13, but dropped like 30 points. Paul George came to play, and they started Bobby Shmurda, Reggie Jackson. My bad, Reggie Jackson, and they found a way to gut out a win. So shout out to the Clippers. I don't know if they're going to win the series. The Mavericks still look better to me, but we'll see, man. On paper, the Clippers should be more talented. But it would be fun to see a Milwaukee and Dallas Mavericks finals. That'd be fun because Giannis and Luka Doncic, they could be the next face of the league, and it's crazy because they're both international players. So that'd be really cool to see, right? It shows how the league is growing, and a lot of respect for these guys. And then obviously the Lakers and the Suns. Chris Paul, man, I feel bad for Chris Paul. This guy always has some sort of injuries in the playoff. I don't know what he got, a stinger in his shoulder. Lakers are up 2-1 right now, and the Lakers just finally understood that they're just bigger than them. Just if you use your size, you're gonna beat the Suns. Anthony Davis, I don't know why he doesn't want to play center. This is not the 1980s. Like, you can shoot threes, you can do whatever you want at center, but the Lakers are better when he's a center. But if they want to be cute and put Anthony Davis at the 4, Drummond, AD, and LeBron, all you got to do is play big, and you'll take care of the Suns. The Jazz Grizzlies series. I respect Donovan Mitchell, man. I expect the Jazz to win the series, but Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks out of Saga, and Jonas Valanciunas, these guys have impressed me. They really did, man. I think they're a team that we're gonna fear in the next couple of years. But for this year, I think the Jazz is probably gonna win in 6. But yeah, man, I know there's a lot in the playoff. I'm not gonna go through every specific details, but the one thing I wanted to leave at, or the one thing I wanted to talk about before we leave, basically, is the Raptors, man. The Raptors. There's an article recently that came out in the Toronto Star about I think the article was by Dave Feshuk. So it was about Masai Ujiri and pretty much his his future, what we expect him to do. Is he going to re-sign with the Raptors? So basically, I've seen some tweets. Masai Ujiri said, there's a few demands that he would like to see from MLSE, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. It's crazy, man, because when I saw that, I'm like, damn, like politics is going to get involved now, because if there's more politics involved, it's less likely that he's going to sign, right? But we'll see. The article says that there's some pretty shady characters, man, because for people who don't know, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment is it's owned by a whole board of people, right? So it's 37.5% is owned by Rogers, the other 37.5% is owned by Bell, and the last 25% is owned by pretty much the chairman of the board, who's Larry Tannenbaum, basically. So my bad for butchering that. But in terms of Larry Tannenbaum, it seems like Masai Ujiri has a pretty good relationship with him. Masai Ujiri is about winning. He's about going over the luxury tax if they have an opportunity to win a championship. Masai Ujiri wants investments in Giants of Africa. Masai Ujiri wants the full support of the organization for a lot of other things, right? And I think he deserves it, man. I think he deserves it. But the issue is there's people on that board that are kind of sketchy. So, for instance, right now the CEO of MLSE, Michael Frijdal, some dude from Denmark, he is known to operate, or in the past he was operating some tourism business in South Africa during the apartheid, and obviously he didn't stop his operations when things like that was going on, and in that time Canada was trying to put forth more sanctions to South Africa to try and discourage them from continuing with the apartheid. So things like that, politics comes in. I don't like to talk about that kind of stuff because I'm not as aware. I'm gonna have to do more research on that. But I hope things like that doesn't stop Ujiri from re-signing with the Raptors, right? And when I hear stuff like that, it's like I'm scared because what does that mean? Does it mean that the industry, or MLSE doesn't want to win? Are they okay with being mediocre? Are they okay with just selling tickets and not actually trying to win? Because if that's the case, then I would understand why Masai would want to leave, right? And obviously, in terms of Rogers, I think Edward Rogers, the president of this side of the business, he is also a guy who's probably known to be, not known, but people have seen him, with Donald Trump. So little things like that, man. Rumors are floating around as, obviously because Masai hasn't resigned yet, but hopefully all that stuff gets resolved pretty quickly. The commitment to winning remains, and if that's the case, we got the best basketball president in the NBA, in my opinion, and we can make that happen as soon as we re-sign him. And obviously we got a draft to prepare for. The Raptors have. I hope the Raptors, win the draft, obviously, because I'm tired of these bum teams who don't even know how to run a team. I'm tired of them getting the number one pick. But the thing is, again, is there politics in this? Does the NBA want the Raptors to get the number one pick? Obviously, the consensus number one pick is Cade Cunningham, 6'7", 6'8" point guard, shooting guard. He would be perfect with the Raptors. Alongside Fred VanVleet. And if we look at the lottery odds, basically the Raptors have about a little bit over a 30% chance of landing in the top 4 pick, 7.5% chance of getting the number 1 pick, which is it's good. It's a good amount of chance. A couple years ago the Pelicans won with similar odds, and last year I think there's a few teams that went into the top 4. So if the Raptors can make that happen. That's going to be a great thing for the franchise, man, because the Raptors are well run. Nick Nurse is, one of the best coaches in the league. The Raptors are going to bounce back, man. I can see them winning, being a contender in the next 2 to 3 years if we get another top 4 pick. And even if we don't, the most likely spot that we're going to be in is going to be 7th. There's still some guys out there, man. There's some, some young ballers out there. There's, guys in that range. There's probably guys like Moses Moody. There's a young 18-year-old, 6'6", about 206, 205 pounds. He shoots, like 34, 35% from the 3. Good athlete. There's other guys, Davion Mitchell, who just won the national championship, NCAA, with Baylor. Guys like James Bouknight. So there's a lot of guys. Jalen Johnson. I'm sure the Raptors scouting, they're going to do their job. But we do have a good chance of landing in the top 4. And again, it all starts with, having, good managing, man. I hope Masai stays. Wish him all the best if he doesn't. But the Raptors are in a good position right now. And, we got to do something about, getting assets for Kyle Lowry. And, we'll be in a good spot. But yeah, man, this was a long pod. I'm not going to take too much time, man. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I'll probably drop another gem, fairly soon. But, make sure to, keep it locked and, stay tuned.